the meme, and the A team. Today we've got a lot to talk about. Taking a little break from the road to Unreal. So basically, how this is going to happen is I've kind of decided that there's going to be two forms of content that I do. One is going to be like the gaming videos, like Fortnite and everything like that, and those kind of shorts. And the other one is going to be stuff like this, which is talking about geopolitics. These are both formats I've tried in the past. I want to basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure them against each other and see which one works out better and which one draws more. But it's a thing where I'd definitely be willing and able to do both of them pretty easily, and I find both of them kind of enjoyable. So let's talk Iran. And it's been a little bit since I looked at the latest updates, but what everyone has already reported is that the Ayatollah Khomeini is dead. Now, if you don't know who the Ayatollah Khomeini is, the Ayatollah is Iran's supreme leader. Um, Let me just pull up an image here. All right, yeah. So the Ayatollah is this guy. He's the supreme leader of Iran, and wow, this is an outdated article. Holy shit. Um he was the supreme leader of Iran, akin to like Kim Jong Un and all those other dictators. Except he's technically a theocrat in that he's a religious leader, but also a political leader. So Iran right now, or I guess was maybe, uh, a theocracy, and that means that their leaders are religious and they they govern, but they're also supposed to be religious leaders. And it was an Islamic theocracy. And this came out of the Shah, who was Shah. Oh God, I forget his name. Shah Pahlavi. There we go. Reza Pahlavi. Reza Shah. I always remember Reza. This is the current Pahlavi. That's the exiled crown prince. This is his father, who's Mohammad Reza Pahlavi Reza Shah, and he was the leader of Iran before the Ayatollah. And what basically happened here is he was he's a complicated figure. He was inserted into Iran after the US and CIA had a covert operation in Iran because the other leader of Iran, who became before the Shah, had nationalized the oil and caused the British to get all upset. So he comes in and he's a Western backed this guy in the background right there. Um he's a Western leader. He's the king of Iran, even though he has really honestly no real legitimacy. The U.S. just kind of inserted him and dipped and said, "All right, go be pro-Western." And so what ends up happening is a bunch of groups of people come together to fight against him for different reasons. He's doing a lot of things on all fronts that causes him not to be able to really unite anyone. So for first of all, he has these a secret police that is extremely restrictive and cracks down on people a lot. And it oh, what's the name of it? Um, Shaw Secret Police. What was it? What was it? What was it? The Savak. That's right. The Savak. And they were extremely brutal and extremely effective. And so what the Savak would do is they were crack down on any sort of protests and any political opponents that the Shah had. So you have that on one front. So that gets all the liberal students and thinkers inside the countries upset with the Shah. But then on the other hand, you also have him being very liberal in his social policy. And as you can see here, this is Iran in the 1970s, in the last days of the Shah. Women are just wearing whatever they want. There's no hijabs. There's no full skin coverings here. It's just full on. They're wearing whatever they want now, modern day. They have to wear hijabs, headscarves. They have to cover their heads. I mean, it's so on both fronts. He was really, really deeply unpopular with the liberal people like this, who did not like what the Kavak was doing, or the Savak was doing. And then on the other side, with these students, or with the Ayatollah and the deeply conservative religious Muslim people in Iran who wanted to see Iran turn into a Muslim theocracy. So what ends up happening is these two groups of people, the Shah, or not the Shah, the Ayatollah and the students, end up coming together to overthrow the Shah entirely. Both sides want different things for Iran, though, and those two things are very, very far apart from each other. So they do end up overthrowing the Shah. However, after doing so, this guy wins. And the Ayatollah, it's been 40, Jesus. The Ayatollah ends up becoming the leader of Iran and becoming the supreme leader of Iran and becoming the dictator of Iran. And this goes away and turns into this. And there's nothing the students can do about it, because honestly, the students, although they tried to fight the Shah and make it more liberal, they ended up making things worse, because really they don't have any power, and this guy has a lot of power and a lot of religious influence over the country. So Iran goes from this very socially liberal place to very, very, very extremely socially conservative, where women aren't even allowed to show their heads. Gay people get stoned to death. You know, you're allowed to do terrible things to women or people who are other, and you're allowed to kill quote unquote infidels who are not a part of the Islamic religion, which has led to a huge decline in Zoroastrianism. In Iran, which at one point in time was the dominant religion of Iran. However, it has been turned into a religious minority. And as you can see, Iran is very diverse, but it is majority Muslim. And it has become very... It's far more majority Muslim than it was, but there was a time where it was extremely Zoroastrian, and because they were infidels, the Iranian regime really cracked down on them hard. And it just, so as you can see, I don't know, this chart literally doesn't say anything. That's Islam. But it was a really, really big crackdown on what was once one of the, if not the biggest religions in Iran. This is just like a demographic chart. I don't know why we're looking at that. But, so the Ayatollah ends up taking over. And, of course, this guy, because this guy... Oh, we don't need the secret police anymore. This guy, because this guy was very pro-West, becomes very anti-West. And so with the anti-Western disposition, I mean, normally extremist Islamist leaders are anti-West anyway, or at least during this time they were. It's kind of been a shift because of Iran. A lot of really anti-West leaders have turned pro-West just because of Iran's actions inside the Middle East. So the Ayatollah, he ends up becoming pretty anti-American, you could say. He ends up saying things like death to America, burning American flags, death to the West, and overall just becomes very, very anti-American. However, he dies. kind of like his predecessor, but he ends up dying of natural causes, and that leads us to now Ayatollah Khomeini, where it says still supreme leader of Iran. Just because I'm curious, does the Wikipedia say still is? This article is involved in a current event. Information may change rapidly as the event. Yeah, okay. Is what's this? Possible death? Mm. I don't know about that. But yes, this is Ayatollah Khomeini. Um, yeah, this is just photos of him and his life. I'll get to him maybe being dead in a second. But he's the supreme leader of Iran, most likely was the supreme leader of Iran and no longer is. Um, it's it's highly likely that's kind of where we're at with this guy. Um, he pretty much continued the legacy of the previous Ayatollah. Extremely brutal, extremely harsh on protesters, cracking down hard, and is pretty much just the same regime, just with a different face. However, what ends up happening in Iran, which didn't really happen under the first Ayatollah, is that there are huge waves of protest. First of all, under the Obama administration, and then, of course, this year under the Trump administration, where Iranian protesters flooded the streets. This year was particularly horrific. They reported 15,000 or 30,000 people died in those protests from this regime's brutal suppression of the protests. And so it was really brutal. Those protests happened mainly because of economic collapse, which people will argue was because of sanctions. It was, in fact, there's a variety of reasons why Iran was facing economic collapse, but yes, those sanctions did not just hurt it, but it did not help, of course. But it's not primarily the sanctions. And I think anyone who wants to come in here and is anti-Trump, that's fine. I get it. Trust me, I get it. However, being on this guy's side, no. This guy's bad. This guy's a bad person and a bad human being, and hopefully was a bad person. He has a lot of blood on his hands, and he should not be the leader of the Iranian people. The Iranian people are a great, great people, and they should not have to be led by an asshole like this. So those are kind of the lead up in Iran to modern day events. Now, for the US, of course, having a regime that hates you really isn't great, and you don't really want to see that anywhere in the world. However, their main concern with this whole situation, the whole reason they want to take out the Ayatollah, is one, as always, with everything the US does because of oil. Iran is another huge oil reserve. We don't really know. They say Venezuela is the biggest one on earth, but it's most likely Saudi Arabia. That's mostly likely a lie. But we do know that Iran is sitting on a huge amount of oil. They make a lot of money off of that oil, and that's kind of how they fund everything in their government. And so that's reason one. Of course, the oil is always strategic. You would be cutting off China from really any oil at this point. They got the majority of their oil from Venezuela and Iran, and now they're not getting it from Venezuela. We'll see if they get it from Iran. They're not getting it from Iran right now because there's U.S. troops in the Gulf. So, but it's also the fact that Iran has been building this nuclear program forever. Iran has a huge terror network. Hezbollah and the Houthis are the ones that come to mind. Oh, and Hamas in Gaza. Ooh. They fund those completely with all their oil money. There's a whole Wikipedia page on it. Ah, yes, of course, Iraq, Syria. The new Syrian ones, the new regime in Syria is very well funded by Iran, Yemen, and the Houthis, Bahrain. I mean, look at these organizations: Hezbollah, Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad. They are the global sponsors of terrorism. That's another huge reason we want to get rid of them. Along with that, just also the fact, oh my god. Oh, why am I yawning so much? Also just the fact that um they now are posturing as though they have missiles that may be able to hit the US. Not saying they would even be able to get here, but in theory, they have missiles now that have the range to hit the United States. So, this and Iran being in a very vulnerable position with the recent protests and economic instability, Israel, which we all know Israel, and the United States felt like now was the time to strike and take out the Ayatollah, especially as diplomatic negotiations between the two sides broke down. They were trying to work out a deal with the Ayatollah to try to figure out how they could stop the Iranian nuclear program and work on a nuclear deal. Reality of that is, Iran would probably just continue working on it and take the money we gave them. Uh, Lord knows that's what they did under Obama. So Israel and the United States kind of just decided to say fuck it and struck Iran. And if I can go onto YouTube, I can probably find some of the videos. Wow. Wholly recommended. David Dobrik vlog in the Big 2-6. Wow. Okay. Iran. I don't know if we have footage of the Iran bombings in Iran. I know there's a ton of footage of the bombings within other places. Yeah. There's the first explosion in Tehran. It happened during the day. It was very strategic. They decided to attack during Ramadan in the day, which you know anything about Ramadan, you know that Muslims celebrate it during the from sunrise to sunset, so in the daytime. Plumes of smoke, air raid sirens. So you can see a ton of oil tankers out here. I'm not exactly sure where this is. I mean, it's a I know when we think of these terrible, terrible regimes, we think about how depressing it is to live there and how ugly they probably are. This is a beautiful country. Just if you just look at it. That's not a pleasant sound. Wonder what the hell that means. Yeah, plumes of smoke in the sky. It looks... Is this just looped? Yeah. So, those were the first strikes in Iran. Initial targets in Iran it revealed. Yeah. So this happened overnight last night. And allegedly, in these initial strikes, they killed the Iranian supreme leader. Allegedly. And so, what ends up happening is Iran launches a series of retaliatory strikes targeted not just at Israel like last time, but also at um, at U.S. bases, and not even U.S. bases, countries that just host U.S. bases, such as Qatar, Bahrain, and the UAE. So if we can, this is Bahrain. You can see smoke coming up. This is a U.S. base that was hit. Yeah, okay, that's cool. UAE shut down their airspace. I just want footage of the explosions, bro. That's great Hindustan times. I do not need an explanation of what happened. Yep.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!
That's a U.S. naval base that just got hit by an Iranian missile. So, I mean, Americans probably have died because of this already. There it is. This is war, guys. I mean, it's just war. Yeah, man.
Shelter in place. Missile threat warning. Hardened shelter immediately. Shelter in place.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's... And they did not just release attacks on Bahrain. There was more.
Messages on our phones like you heard with Richard. They're telling us to shelter in place. Just to reassure you, Tom, I am standing close to our
Across the entire Arab world.
Shelter, but the UAE,
not just Israel.
The United Arab Emirates here,
the UAE, Bahrain, and Qatar have all, and Saudi Arabia have all been targeted by Iran.
Not just bases here in this region, but civilian targets, hotels. The airport near here has been hit. Thankfully, it had been evacuated.
Yeah, the Kuwait airport was hit.
It was like a furious reaction from Iran, some kind of retribution, perhaps even desperation over the news of the possible death of its leader.
Which is a point that I'll get to in a sec, but it's India Today. Yeah, again, it was not just U.S. bases. It's more than just bases. Yep, as you can see, Saudi Arabia was targeted.
Iran's deadly revenge has begun. Within hours of massive U.S.-Israel strikes on Tehran, ballistic missiles lit up the skies across the Middle East, targeting 4 major American military bases. In what appears to be a coordinated retaliation, Iranian missiles were launched toward U.S. installations in Qatar, Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain, marking one of the most dangerous escalations in years. Target 1, Qatar. Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, the largest U.S. military facility in the region, home to roughly 10,000 American troops and the forward headquarters of U.S. Central Command. Explosions were reported in Doha as Patriot air defense systems intercepted incoming missiles. Sirens echoed across the capital.
The U.S. has really good air defense systems, on par, if not better, than that of the Iron Dome. So, not all these missiles hit their targets, but a few will always get through these systems.
Non-essential personnel had already been partially evacuated amid rising tensions. Target 2, Kuwait. In Kuwait, Ali al-Salam Air Base, a key U.S. Air Force hub, was reportedly targeted. The installation plays a central role in regional combat and logistics operations. Target 3, United Arab Emirates. Explosions were also reported near Al Dhafra Air Base in the UAE, a major reconnaissance and strike platform for U.S. forces in the Gulf.
And a missile almost hit the Burj Khalifa. I don't know if y'all have seen that clip, but they're not just targeting, they're targeting civilian populations inside these countries. It's not just military bases. They're also actively targeting civilian populations inside these regions. Or these countries, not regions, inside the region.
And in Bahrain, home to the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters, air raid sirens sounded nationwide. Reports indicate missiles were aimed at Naval Support Activity Bahrain in Manama. This retaliation follows President Donald Trump's announcement of major combat operations against Iran.
The United States military began major combat operations in Iran.
A joint U.S.-Israel offensive targeting nuclear facilities, missile infrastructure, and key military sites in Tehran. Trump described the campaign as massive and ongoing, aimed at dismantling Iran's missile industry and preventing nuclear weapon development. In response to the missile barrage, Qatar, the UAE, Bahrain, and Kuwait closed their airspace. U.S. embassies issued shelter-in-place advisories. Regional air defenses remain on high alert. So far, no major American casualties have been confirmed, but the situation is still unfolding. Iranian officials have vowed a crushing response, declaring all U.S. and Israeli assets
Yeah, but this guy's dead.
in the region legitimate
This
targets.
guy knows a lot.
Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has reportedly been moved to a secure location.
Allegedly. I don't know. What is this? I don't know if I don't know. I've never heard of this news source. I just got to check something. Gotta do your due diligence. Hold on. I just want to make sure they're not tied to Iran. Okay. Well, anyways, this guy's probably dead. Trump said he's dead. Netanyahu said he's dead. Or that all signs point to him being dead. He's probably dead.
Analysts warn this could evolve into a prolonged, multi-front conflict involving proxy forces across Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, and Yemen. 4 U.S. bases targeted in seconds, airspace shut down, oil markets rattled. The Middle East stands on the brink. The next wave from either side could determine whether this becomes a regional war or something far larger.
So we just heard General Keane
It does
say
have
that
the
this
potential to become a worldwide conflict. If we could get footage. Yeah, Tehran's burning. I mean, for the Iranian people, they've wanted this. It's time that they get this. It's time that they get some form of freedom. This is a good map. Yeah. They targeted the most major ones, which were in these countries. Kuwait has a lot of them. But I think that the U.S. is probably gonna... If I had to guess that it's the U.S. is gonna respond and that these other countries are gonna respond with strikes. And that it will not be good for Iran. So, I was thinking, in theory, Iran's ability to respond to these things will be crippled. Yet again, just Just, I mean, in theory, that's what it looks like right now. I don't know. There's a possibility, I guess, that Iran is able to recover and respond. But man, I just don't see them against the weight of Israel and the United States bearing down on them being able to come back from this and really win this war. Oh my god, I'm tired. Ugh. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm not. Another thing we should talk about. It's gonna make it is going to make life for Jewish Americans so much worse. This. I mean, no one likes Israel already, and they already connected to Jews, so it is. I just think that we don't blame this on Jewish Americans. They have nothing, literally nothing to do with this. It's just gonna make anti-Semitism even worse, which is crazy. Because who would have thought it could have got worse, eh? All right. Anyways, that being said, I'm gonna play a game of Rise of Nations and hop off for the night. Wow, a lot of people want to play as the U.S. I'll just rip it. I'm ripping an Australia run. I kind of want to be out of the way for this game. I wonder if Australia has alternate flags yet. This game has probably changed since I last played it, but I'm just gonna kind of focus on my business. And wow, look at how quickly that loaded. I'm going to focus only people in a similar age group. Am I not an 18+ account, bro? Like, are we being so dead ass? I should be an 18+ account because I'm 18+. It estimated my age to be 18 to 20. So can I not? Is it just like I can't talk to people younger than me then? I will make this country be rich. Yeah, there's no way that dude's 18 to 20. Okay. Let's look at formables. Let's just get everything going, man. Hey, Ant SSXV, thanks for the follow. I appreciate you, man. Is this a political stream? Yes, sir, it is. I am playing Rise of Nations and talking about what's going on in Iran right now. So if you want to hop in on this conversation, I'd be happy to have you. I just kind of got done with the briefing, the whole summary of the situation and kind of what's going on in Iran, and talking about how the Ayatollah is dead. Stuff like that. But yeah, you know, if you want to add anything on what you think in the situation, I'm just gonna be playing this in the background because need something to fill my brain with while I talk about this stuff. What's your opinion on receiving Kirk from Donald Trump? You know, it's really not that surprising, to be honest. I think we kind of... I feel like that revelation came about not that long ago. I'm not going to lie to you. Haven't we known that Bill Clinton received Kirk from Donald Trump for like a little bit now? Or at least that was like theorized. Did they really find that in the files? There's There's just no way. Receiving Kirk. Can't believe that's a term now that we use. Receiving Kirk. Oh, man. So stupid. I already justified a war on those guys, yeah. Man, Trump giving godly Kirk, that man, Glizzard, just no Bill, feel that shit in his soul. Bro, ain't the first time that's happened to Bill yet either, you know? Obviously, last time he received Kirk from a woman who was under his desk, but he just, I'm sure Trump really fucking went to town. By the way, we made Monica Lewinsky famous for giving Kirk to Bill Clinton. I just think that should be noted. That's a thing that we did. We use giving Kirk now. For rest of my streaming career, we're gonna use giving Kirk. So stupid. Yeah, such a dumb joke. Okay, we got, oh my, holy titanium. What I do know is that really, man, whatever Trump is doing right here, I just feel like it's just kind of, I just disagree with it. I think that when we get regime change in Iran, we're just throwing ourselves into another terrible situation. We've done this already in the past fucking, I don't know, 20 years. We've done this in Iraq and Afghanistan, and it just did not work. Afghanistan was a crazy quagmire. Iraq ended up birthing ISIS. What did that just say? Okay. Iraq ended up birthing ISIS. It was just a dumb decision. I don't know why Mr. Trump giving Kirk himself, giving godly Kirk, is doing this. I just don't think it makes sense. I get the geopolitical sense behind it in that there's rumors that they would have missiles that could reach the U.S. I don't know if I buy that. I have a hard time believing that is really true. But I think on top of that, it so clearly feels like it's gonna backfire. I mean, I just don't think there's a universe where this doesn't backfire. There will be some remnants who come out of Iran after we're all done with our special military operation and we're all done aiding Israel. And they'll just come out of the woodworks and they'll be like, oh no. And then they'll end up taking over the country. And then we're cooked. And then we're in another quagmire in the Middle East. Which, I mean, tale as old as time. Not only that, though, now we're bringing the Gulf states all with us. Like, hey guys, we just bombed Iran, and we have bases in your countries. Also, something that I'm thinking about right now is how this potentially may discourage the Gulf states, or really any country, from having U.S. bases inside their country. It used to be like, if you were attacked, the U.S. would come and defend you. Now it's like, oh, if the U.S. attacks someone, you get attacked by that country. I mean, that's what happened in Kuwait. That's what happened in Bahrain. That's what happened in Qatar. That's what happened in the UAE. That's Oman. That's what happened in the UAE. I think there's a lot of fallout from this that isn't going to be felt right now. It's going to be felt in the future. That just does not really seem like it's worth it. And honestly, don't think it's going to work out too well for the U.S. But I think now that we're in this shit, and I guess we're pursuing a regime change, let's try to get rid of the Ayatollah, because I think you can objectively say he's a terrible fucking person, and he should not, unequivocally, should not be in charge of the Iranian people, and is just bad for the Iranian people. So I guess, I mean, if we can do regime change, I guess now it's too late. I don't know. I guess we've got to go for it. Kind of just say, fuck it, we ball, you know? Oh my god, why aren't my units moving? I don't know. I don't know why. It's just in my head. It's just a lot of effects from this that we can't really see now. It's just it's tale as old as time, and it's just gonna hurt us, and it's gonna backfire, just like it does every single time when we do this regime change bullshit. Not only that, if we aren't able to cause a regime change, what do? There's a world out there where we get a worse leader than Khomeini, or Khomeini, whatever. There's a world out there where we get a worse leader than Khomeini. Which factory's down? The Elec? Now, I don't know if it's necessarily a very likely scenario at this point that we get someone worse than Khomeini. We probably, bare minimum, will strike a deal with the next guy if I had to guess, but it is, I just don't. It's not a smart position to be putting ourselves into. I really think that we should not. Is this guy a player? Does the AI know how to train their divisions now? What is this, jungle? I just don't think we should be involved in this Middle East quagmire again. But we're in it now. I think now that we're in it, we have to be pro-America. I don't agree with it, but I think now we're in it. Go USA. If you're rooting against your country, I disagree with you. Should be rooting for the Americans to go kick some ass. 100%. I think that's how we have to go about this. Alright, we've got a fertilizer factory up. Do we not have phosphate? Oh. Well, poop. We need to buy some of that. Saudi's a player. Egypt's probably a player. I know Gabon is not, though. This should keep us going for a little bit. Gabon's a player. Alright. Why are they a player? I don't fucking know. I've never really done an Australia game before. This is going to be interesting. Alright, we're Dungle, Spect. Let's see. Wait. Halt. Australian Army. I should get a commander for these guys. Military leaders. Recruit new leader. Unyielding. Unyielding's probably good. This guy seems like he's good. Assign Australian Army. Alright, let's go get him. Indonesia, as always, is a player. Because, of course... Whoa, that's a sick-ass flag. doing this. You can go ahead and fucking... I'm just gonna pull out of there. Focus on New Zealand. I really don't want to get attacked. By Indonesia. Mi General Augusto Pinochet. No, that was a bad dude. Should not have your general be Augusto Pinochet. Alright, now that we have civies, what is our trade deficit? What are we running out of? Tungsten? Oh. Just buy one. There. Is that it? Is that all we're running out of, really? Titanium we're good on. Just buy a unit of iron. Or copper. Not iron. Guys, this is not that hard. Buy a unit of copper. Iron. Have so much iron. Okay. Let's industrialize, baby. What does our consumer goods look like? Bang! We are good in the neighborhood. Alright. That means high tax! Yeah, baby. And we still have stability going up. Yeah, baby. Okay. So now, should be able to get some tanks pumping. And we can start making some stuff that'll be able to fund a much bigger army. I'm going to do a big build-up. And W China. Oh, China's taking out Russia. What's new? Some things never change, chat. China taking out Russia. Australia taking out New Zealand. That feels like that's constantly changing, but still. Alright, we got our first tanks. I don't even know what to specialize these guys in. I don't know. Okay, we have a lot of political power. Ideologies. We're going down the liberalism route. I go... those are all so ugly. State religion. They have a fucking flag for that now? Let's get some laws in here. Party loyalty, press regulation, religious emphasis, state religion. Ideology, integration speed, tax income, research output. We're gonna go with the state religion, I think. And then we also get this cool ass flag. Where we get the little Christian cross in the top. New Zealand's dead? Oh. Oh. Well, don't mind if I do then. I also think, as an island nation, we need to start kind of arming our navy. Oh, well, we don't need this. Should get some destroyers and some subs. By destroyers and sub, I mean like a destroyer and a sub for right now. Because I have no money. How much is it going to cost for us to develop? We'll get some development done. Okay. Who next? Who next? We need... just really these guys. Norfolk Island. And then, of course, Fiji. I need Fiji. $4 million. Alright, we're just gonna keep on building this up. I'm gonna send these guys to Norfolk Island to just fucking bombard them. Not you yet, tank. You're not. No, no. Sydney getting developed? Oh, Sydney's getting developed. Sick, dude. Holy ferd. Yeah, man. We can, ooh, advanced supercomputers. Research improvements. Very, very nice. Very nice. Alrighty, declare war. Fuck, okay, I have to sail these guys away, bro. Oh my god. Who knew that declaring war on the Norfolk Islands would be so fucking difficult? Or Norfolk Island. Not even islands, island. Chat, I'm gonna end it for tonight. I'll be back tomorrow.